Over the past year, I've scaled my educational business, CreatorX, into a multi-six-figure brand. We've helped hundreds of creators to build real businesses, and I personally have published over 400 pieces of content in the process. And throughout all of it, I've been documenting the lessons I've learned along the way. This isn't AI-generated ChatGPT value. This is real insight from someone who's gone from complete zero to 70,000 followers and multi-six figures in both personal and client revenue. These are the insights that separate the creators who plateau at 2 to 7K a month from those who build systems and businesses that compound like empires. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 lessons that I learned across the past 5 years of building an online business, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Let's dive into it. Okay, number 1, provide more opportunities to say yes. The majority of creators and coaches I speak to don't want to come across as salesy. And as a result, they post content and once a month, they'll put on their story, who wants to join my program? And they'll sit there wondering why they haven't hit 50K a month yet. That's not how it works. You can't just throw out one call to action a month and expect to be a 50K a month entrepreneur. Humans don't go from having never even spoken to you to buying your 6K program in one big leap. There's a concept in psychology called the yes ladder, also known as the consistency principle. If someone makes small, low resistance commitments to you over time, in other words, they say yes to something small, they're going to be much more likely to say yes to bigger things in the future. Think about it. If someone came up to you in the street and proposed to you straight away, what would you say? Unless there's something wrong with you. The reality is if you're going to marry someone, you need small micro commitments along the way. Saying yes to going for coffee, saying yes to a second date, saying yes to meeting the family, etc. Client acquisition works in the exact same way. Your content and your offers should create multiple micro commitments or mini yeses along the way. For example, saying yes on one of your Instagram stories to watching one of your YouTube videos, saying yes to opting in for a free lead magnet or resource, saying yes to joining your free community, so that by the time you put out that big call to action, asking if people want to join your program, that big yes isn't a massive leap. It's just the next logical step, the next logical progression in the chain of commitments they've already made to you. So if you're making really good content, but you're wondering why you're not getting clients consistently, look at the amount of opportunities you're giving your audience to say yes. Because when you're consistently creating those micro commitments day by day by day, that's when the sales start to become inevitable. Number 2 is general attention versus engineered attention. Here's another common mistake that a load of people that I speak to make. Attention does not equal a business. Most people, when they try to build their personal brand at the start, obsessed with getting followers and going viral. But the reality is, even if you got 1 million views tomorrow, A, it probably wouldn't be the right people watching, and B, you wouldn't know what to do with that traffic. Think about it like this. What's more valuable? 100,000 followers who don't really know what you do, they don't really like you that much, they just like one of your funny reels that you posted, or 1,000 followers, but all of them are interested in your solution, they love you as a creator, as a person, they resonate with your story and your morals and your ideals. Which audience are you going to be more likely to make money from? And here's the thing, I'm not shitting on virality. I think going viral in the right way is super valuable, and it's a really good thing to do. And that's where niche virality comes in. The way you need to think is you don't need to be famous in order to make money. You just need to become sort of famous within the right circles, within the right micro niches. I'm actually going to create a separate video on niche virality and the types of content to create to attract your ICP consistently, organically. So make sure you're subscribed for that. It's going to be a really good video. But once you can consistently bring in new attention, so your ICP is following you day in, day out, you then need to do something with that traffic. You need to engineer a specific organic customer journey. Let's say 10,000 people follow you tomorrow. They're all your ideal ICP. What comes next? How do you convert them into buyers? You need to build an ecosystem. You need to build next steps for them to do. If they come onto your profile, how do they know what to do next to learn more about you and your offer? Is it joining your free community? Is it joining your email list? Is it watching a YouTube video? Okay, is it watching a VSL on a landing page? What is the next step that they have to take to dive deeper into your ecosystem? And as they move deeper into your ecosystem, you provide more opportunities to say yes, more value, more trust is built. That's how you go from getting general attention to engineering attention into clients. I actually have a video in my school community which breaks down exactly how to engineer that organic customer journey, build your content ecosystem so that when you get attention, there is a clear pathway for them to take all the way to becoming a ready-to-buy client. So check that out in the description if you want to do that as well. Number 3 is you have viewers, you have followers, but you don't have a cult. And this one is a big realization that a lot of people need to have, is that you don't need followers, you need to build a cult audience. So followers are great, right? They like your content, they gas you up in the comments, they like your stories, maybe they share a few of your posts. But the reality is they're never going to buy your products, and if you stop posting tomorrow, they'd forget about you. A cult is different. A cult is identity driven. So these people aren't just consuming your content, they live your philosophy. They adopt your language, your ways of thinking, your frameworks, your rituals for success. A follower might ask the question, what value can this guy provide me? How can he help me out today? But a cult member is asking the question, how can I live like this guy? How can I be more like him? How can I take his lessons and apply them to my life to be more like him? That's why cults outlast trends, and brands like these guys and brands like these guys have been around for years and years because they're not just chasing trends, they're not just posting content consistently, they're building a cult. They're building people who have bought into their way of thinking, their branding, their ideals, their language, their concepts, their values, to make them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. Again, I've got a video all about building your own cult. I'll try and flash it up on the screen if I can right now, but go and check that out as well because it will help you to understand this concept even better. And the bottom line is that if people just follow you because you have some pretty content every now and then, you're replaceable, okay? The volume of content that's going to be going out with AI in the next few years is crazy, and your pretty little edits are going to get buried under a mass amount of content, all right? But if people genuinely resonate with you and your story and your personality and the unique concepts that you can provide, your ideologies, your philosophies, that's when you become untouchable, you become irreplaceable, because those are the sort of things that AI cannot replicate. Okay, number 4 is that booking calls and taking sales calls is literally just a matter of filtering out applicants. This is a way of thinking that kind of changed my entire approach to sales, to be honest. So when I first started CreatorX, this is a position that a lot of my clients are in, right? When you're stuck at that 2 to 7K a month mark, when you're hopping on a sales call, you're kind of in a desperate state of mind. You really want to get the money out of the person. It would make a huge difference to you. You want to make money, you want to get the cash in. You want to get anyone that you can into your program so you can start to make some money. And as a result, when you're on the call, you show up with that desperate state of mind. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to sell your results. You're trying to convince the person to join your program, which puts all the power in their court. And you're trying to convince them to join. They have the power on the call. But the big shift that I made, which made my close rate go up, which made me feel more authoritative on calls, and actually benefited my business way more over the last few months, is that these calls aren't about convincing someone to join your program. Okay, they should show up to the call already convinced that they want to join. The sales call is just a matter of making sure that they're the right person for the program and making sure that you can help them. And once I made that shift, my close rate went up, and I realized that my content and my marketing could do the majority of the heavy lifting before people even got to the call. I was pre-selling them with my content. Here's the reality. These calls aren't about convincing someone to join your program. It's about filtering whether the applicants are the right type of people that you can help and get results for. When someone books a call with you, it should feel like they're applying for access to your program. It creates an air of exclusivity about your program instead of you just trying to chase money. So the frame of the call completely flips. Your authority skyrockets because suddenly you're not chasing, you're just choosing who joins. And the client will feel it too. They know that you're not just there for their money, you're there to see if you can really help them. You stop closing deals out of scarcity and start enrolling clients out of alignment with your program. Number 5 is linear scaling versus asymmetric leverage. Now, what do I mean by this? There's a difference between staying stuck at 10K a month and breaking through. Something I always say is linear scaling will get you from 0 to 1, and asymmetric leverage, building leverage through your content, will get you from 1 to 100. Linear scaling means that every client you bring on board means more work for you. So if you add 5 clients to your program or your agency, it adds 5 units of stress. And that's why linear scaling or hustling hard and grinding will only get you so far. You can't do that to get to 50, 60, 70K a month. Asymmetric scaling means one system, one video, one framework that can impact hundreds of people with the same effort it takes to impact one. That's how we build leverage. Think about it. One VSL can book in 100 calls a month without you having to have a single conversation with anyone. One email nurture sequence can nurture thousands of leads at once without you having to have a single conversation or lift a finger. And one YouTube video can generate trust with hundreds of people in a single day on autopilot for years and years on end. This is why your focus when you're scaling should move from busy work, like trying to convince people to join your program, to building leverage, ideating content, recording assets, helping clients get results, designing new offers, promoting your products. These are the highest leverage tasks you can possibly do to scale your business through content and reach new people at scale. Leverage means that efforts no longer equals outcome. And until you install systems that build leverage, you're always going to feel stuck. You're always going to feel capped at a certain level. Number 6, and this one's a little bit waffly, but bear with me because it makes a lot of sense. Peace and clarity equals progress. This might be one of the most counterintuitive lessons of all of them. But when I was first starting out, going from that 0 to 1, trying to get my first 10K month, I thought that chaos was progress. I thought that having all these different spinning plates was going to be the thing that would get me to the next level. Long nights, editing until 2 a.m., the endless grind. I thought that's what success looked like. But the reality is chaos and scattered thoughts doesn't create growth. It creates distraction. Real progress happens when your path to success is clear. You know exactly what to do in more order without distraction. And that's why building systems matters. Systems give you peace of mind, peace creates focus, and focus compounds. The real flex isn't how much chaos you can tolerate, how many different spinning plates you can handle. The real flex is how much clarity you can create. Because when you're calm and clear and know exactly what you have to do each day, you can execute at a higher level and move with speed. And number 7, sell transformations to specific people. This is the best transformation picture I can find on Canva. It's a werewolf. Don't worry, we're not going to be doing any weird furry shit. But the key point here is specificity, right? Specific offers provide transformations. No one's going to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for coaching calls. But people will pay you 5, 6, 10K to guide them from a very specific starting point to a very specific end point as a very specific person. The difference is night and day. For example, we run ads for everyone is completely forgettable. It doesn't resonate with anyone. It doesn't make anyone sit there and think that is perfect for me. But for example, if you say we scale French D2C brands doing 20K to 30K a month with UGC and meta ads to 100K a month in 90 days, that's a very clear starting point, a very clear outcome, and a very clear process. And you can elaborate on that in your content, in your lead magnets, so that people feel like that transformation is perfect for them. That's how you get people to pay those high ticket prices. Specificity is attractive because it shows a very specific type of person how you can change their life, what you can do specifically for them. Now, those are 7 of the key lessons that I've learned throughout my time scaling my educational business CreatorX into a multi-6-figure business. If you want to understand more about these systems I've just gone through very briefly, I have a bunch more content on my channel showing you exactly how to install these systems. If you want to go a bit deeper, I've also got a 24-day personal branding email course, which is in the description of this video. 24 days where we provide you insight and actionable steps to build a profitable personal brand. So you can sign up for free in the description below. But if you're ready to just cut through all the noise, save yourself 12 months of learning all this stuff, completely cut the learning curve, and actually just install these systems one-to-one with me personally, there's also going to be a link to apply for a call below where you can speak directly to me and we can create a plan of action for your personal brand and add an extra 20K a month to your creative business, educational business, agency, coaching program, whatever it is you have. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.